I'm going to get to a review of this new Lizzo album, My Face Hurts from Smiling. I'm going to talk about how it may be the best mainstream rap album of the year, how it's excellent, how it's joyful and spiteful. It's a crash out album that's a meditation on fame and an earnest attempt to make summer jams. As a matter of fact, I started recording this downstairs out on my porch, but it was so hot my computer broke. So it's a summer jam album while being all those other things. But before I get to that, let's get to some hot goss. Let's get to the thing that we're all thinking about when you say Lizzo. You kind of think, oh, Lizzo. Or is it still okay to listen to Lizzo? I told my daughter I was going to be reviewing this, and she said, isn't she bad? And I was like, well, I was thinking about that, and for a long time I've just kind of had Lizzo in that bad category. So I guess that'll be my question to start everything off. Should we uncancel Lizzo just because this album is so good? And maybe even another question is, did we cancel Lizzo? And then also, what is canceling? I'm not going to answer what is canceling because that's a question for someone else. But if you're like me, then maybe you will have been in a category of just sort of saying, of hearing the name Lizzo and just kind of going, oh yeah, she's bad now. And if you'd asked me before I did any research into it, and you said, Sky, why is Lizzo bad now? I'd say, let's see, she was accused of SA, which is actual say assault A, right? She was accused of that, so that makes her bad. And she was fat shaming, which is bad because she is famous for being proud of her weight. And that was just how I thought. And that was enough for me to completely dismiss an artist who I enjoy. I did a review of her last album, and I liked it quite a bit. I like her presence in pop culture. I think she does a lot of important things. I think she represents intersectionality in a basically unique way. But, I just kind of heard that and just sort of said, okay, yeah, no, she's done. I don't like her anymore. And this reminds me of the work of a guy named Nicholas Carr. He wrote a book called The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brain. Props to R.M. Brown for putting me onto that book. Toilet. In that book, he explains how we just have such a shallow understanding of anything. And all we do is really just kind of read headlines and draw these conclusions. And we don't really go into depth. And it's hurting our ability to critically think. So that's what happened to me. I almost ignored this album completely because I hear the word Lizzo and I go, oh yeah, she's bad, right? She was harassing somebody and kind of fat shaming. So I want to go deeper than the shallows. I want to talk about this. I am going to review this album and I do think it's excellent, but I'm going to put up a question here and say, is it morally correct to do so? Why not ask that question? So I did some research. Okay. Now listen, I researched, 2 or 3 hours. I watched a bunch of videos. I read a bunch of articles. If there's things that I say that are wrong, or if you think I'm understating things, please tell me in the comments. I'm not being facetious. I might be wrong. I might need more nuance. Okay. One of the things we really need on the internet is people being able to make mistakes and say, oops, I goofed. So this is as far as I understand based on what I've seen and what I've read. Okay. So let's go on the first main thing. Did she do it or did she not do it? Before we even talk about what it is, has she been convicted and has it been agreed that she did the things that she is accused of? No. So she's innocent until proven guilty. That is actually the way that our law system works. That is actually the most humane way to be. But that doesn't matter because that's not how public opinion works. So I don't know. So then let's talk about what is it that she did. Now, if you've been following her career, she's been canceled a few times. Once because she twerked at a Lakers game and her butt was showing. The most offensive thing for me is that she went to a Lakers game like the rest of those posers, because all Lakers fans are just, Leonardo DiCaprio posers. I'm just joking, everybody. Sorry. My mass hole is showing. I'm twerking and my mass hole is showing. Okay, so that's one thing that doesn't bother us, right? She played James Madison's flute. I guess that made some people upset. As far as I'm concerned, that makes her cooler. That makes James Madison seem cooler. And then one thing she did that I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully forgive her for was she was on that bad episode of The Mandalorian with Jack Black. But you know what? Hey, they were trying something new. We got to stop punishing Star Wars for trying new things. No, the real thing that she's accused of is by her backup dancers. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to tell you what they said in their words on Good Morning America. Okay, I'm not a legal expert. Okay, I defer to folks who know way more than I do. All right, the abso-effing-lutely, she does a lot of great breakdowns on legal stuff. I'll just tell you what they said the plaintiffs said on Good Morning America about what she did. Just so that we're crystal clear, everybody. Because if you just say, oh yeah, fat phobia, actual assault, like, then you just go, oh, okay, then she's bad. But let's figure out what it is. First of all, the fat phobia claim comes from the following. One of the dancers, who was hired because she won a reality TV show contest for plus-sized dancers, showed up, and the dance instructor, not Lizzo, the dance instructor said, you seem different. That dancer interpreted you seem different as being you look fat, you need to lose weight, fatty, fatty, fat, fat. Okay? And first of all, maybe that is what was being implied. I wasn't there, right? And I imagine it's very difficult to be a dancer, to be plus-sized and a dancer at the same time. You must have heard these kinds of things. I'm entirely sympathetic towards anybody who is going through that. But at the same time, saying you look different, that's not fat shaming. That's not. And somebody who is in charge of training dancers saying that is not Lizzo saying it. So as far as I'm concerned, that just can be gone. That is put to the side. The second thing was that she apparently pressured her dancers to go with her to a strip club in Amsterdam, and then was part of pressuring a dancer to touch a stripper's body when she didn't want to. If that's the case, then that's absolutely an abuse of power. That is absolutely worthy of a lawsuit. That is absolutely, you need to be, treated like any other bad boss who abuses their power and does not respect the boundaries that should be there. Okay? Whether or not that rises to the level of being a sexual assaulter, just got demonetized. I don't care. Okay? Like, whether or not, smash like, bucket, subscribe. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive Music Review Show hosted by a French professor who always forgets what things he's not supposed to say. Please forgive me. I'm just getting over a 24-hour norovirus. I've had a hell of a week, everybody. Like that. I don't think that rises to that level of just dismissing her. Like, R. Kelly, Lizzo, basically same thing. That's what it was in my head. Okay? The shallows. You just hear it and you group them together. The third and final thing that I saw them accuse her of was when the dancer quit, Lizzo allegedly balled up her fist and said, like, you're lucky, which she read as a threat. But, like, I think if you don't assault somebody, I don't think that you can be sued for assault. I think vague threats are very unpleasant, very unprofessional. But as far as I can tell, that's not the same thing. So as far as I read it, I am morally capable of listening to this music and enjoying it. It seems as though the worst case scenario, the most probable scenario, is she's not a very nice boss. That's the sense that I get. I get the sense that she's just not a very nice boss. And, let's talk about it. Because in general, we like mean bosses in general, like they're funny, like they're hard-nosed and they get no, I'm sorry, one second. We like men when they're mean bosses. When men are mean bosses, we just kind of smile and say, that's it, they're really demanding. If you're a woman and you're a mean boss, then that's really not okay, and that needs to be corrected from a societal standpoint, whether it's Ellen DeGeneres or Doechii. Right? Like if you're demanding and you're hurry up with my damn croissants and you're a guy, that's okay. But if you're a woman, you're not allowed to. And the reason why is because we don't actually mind mean bosses. We mind women being in power. That's the sort of sad truth of the whole thing. And it ties into the fact that we also, as a society, don't want non-white people in power. See, the intersectionality that makes Lizzo so fascinating is also what makes her so ready to be torn down, because the more things she had to overcome, the body shape, being black, being a woman, being either gay-coded or queer, or I'm not really clear on her sexuality yet. I haven't done research on that because I don't think that's particularly germane to this particular conversation. But as far as I'm concerned, that just makes her more and more ready to be torn down. Because the more steps the more things you had to cross over to get to the top, the more eager the society is to pull you down. So in that way, I think she deserves grace. Maybe she is a mean boss. Maybe. Maybe she's not a good person. But bad people are allowed to make good art. We're allowed to listen to good art made by bad people. I talk about them all the time. Probably the majority of people I've talked about on this channel, if you met them in real life, would be like, man, person's kind of a dick. Like, that's just most likely, okay? And what I find so interesting is in my research, I also watched a recent interview on the YouTube show Therapist by Jake Shane, a deeply, deeply excellent interview show that makes you think like, oh, why don't they make interview shows like they used to? Well, they do. This is amazing. And in this whole episode, she talks about this. She talks about the way that the life of a celebrity wears on you, the way that it makes it difficult for you to always be human, the way that you're just shuffled and shuttled around from place to place to place to place and constantly meeting people and people constantly asking you to sign things and do things and smile and take pictures and smile and shake hands and do radio promos and do all these things that you end up losing a sense of who you are as a person. So it makes sense. It makes sense to me. It makes sense. Maybe I wouldn't be a nice person if I got super famous. I'm like niche, a little bit famous. And when I'm at a concert and if people see me and they want to take a picture with me, I am over the moon. I'm so happy. It's so exciting. But if every time I went to a concert, everybody was just watching me watch the show, maybe I'd be a dick. I don't know. I can't speak on that. What I love about this interview is that she talks about this album, which is funny because like she talks about this album in kind of like a deep way. Like it's like this really deep, incisive take on fame and loss, which it is, but it's in the format of a complete banger after banger after banger, just like club hits after club. It's just... It's like the thesis of the album is I'm outside, ho, but it's all these kinds of deep meanings, is that she's been mourning her loss of self. And every real celebrity loses themselves. And I get it. We all want to be famous. We don't have any sympathy for rich people. Burn the rich, eat the rich, all that stuff. But also maybe have empathy. Maybe understand that like if you couldn't go anywhere or do anything without people taking pictures of you, maybe it's a loss. I love it because she quotes Eminem in this interview. And she says, I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, why would you say I am? And that's what I think. Like, I feel like that's where she is. That's her mindset. It's just like, okay, you want to call me this? You want to call me that? You want to say I'm this? You want to say I'm that? Fine. Which then makes it a crash out, right? I'm going to be using a lot of terms here. A lot of terms in this video, which all come from African-American vernacular English, okay? Black slang, for lack of a better word. Most slang words that I use and that you use come from black slang. I don't know if you're hip to that, if that's cool with you. I don't know, just chill out. All those, by the way, those are words. That's why I'm using those words. But it's a crash out. It's her just absolutely just saying, fine. And just screaming and just being bratty and willful and sexy and aggressive. And it's great. And it's still empowering. It is empowering in a way just like Special was. It really was. It's just it's more rapping, more punchlines. I will tell you one thing, whatever you do, never think about the character Bobby Hill when you listen to Lizzo. If you think about the character Bobby Hill, the boy from King of the Hill, voiced by Pamela Adlon, you will think, oh my God, she sounds just like Bobby Hill. Now, I don't know if that's a Texas thing, because Bobby Hill's from Texas and Lizzo's born in Detroit but raised in Texas. Anyways, more rapping, just so many just killer punchlines. There's no skips. Listen, I really enjoy Lizzo, but I'm a rap guy. Okay, I'm that rap guy. I'm a rap guy. Okay, so like anytime a rapper goes into R&B, I'm never going to like it as much as if they just stay rap. Okay, that's just the way I am. I'm just like, you can sing, cool. And I mean, this goes to like the greats. This goes to the greats. Missy Elliott is one of my favorite performers of all time. And still, every time she goes into her R&B bag, I kind of wish it was just rap. And she's one of the greatest R&B creators of all time, right? This album has got none of it. It's just rap. And a lot of the productions by like Zaytoven and ATL Jacob. It's just great mainstream rap. Like just, I don't know. And when we talk about that, okay, so here's a question for you. There's some words where they're new. So with black slang, me as a white guy am sensitive to using it. But a lot of it's been grandfathered in before I learned, like before I was sort of conscious of the ambiguity of it. So like I will say word up to my friends all the time. And I remember the first time I heard that term. I remember when my friend Jonathan said word on the phone. I said, what word? He said word. I was like, no, what word? Why did you say word? And he says, oh, that's how the cool people say, I agree. Right? So like, I'll say word. There's no problem there. But the term ratchet makes me very uncomfortable because it's very coded for black women, in particular, a sort of classist term. It's very sort of related to like acting sort of very loud and aggressive and not caring about the way you're perceived. Now, in some of the materials that I've read about this, that's how this album's been referred to. So I'm only just going to use that term now just once to say that that feels like that is the energy that's going into this, which is very different than the energy that you see on Lizzo with like Special. This is very different. This is not the I am the queen who will come to save the universe with my intersectional greatness. This is the, oh, fuck me, fuck you, right? And that's great. And so it starts off in that sort of, I'm not going to say it, in that aggressive standpoint. I'm not even going to say it twice. And you can tell that from the album cover. My face hurts from smiling because, you'd think that she'd be crying because she's been going through all this scrutiny, but no, she's smiling and she's flipping off the camera and there's smiley faces over it. So there's kind of like a I'm not sad, I'm happy, that kind of thing. So it starts off with a crash out, and then it kind of goes into summer jams, and then it ends with a little bit on that personal autonomy. No skips on the entire album. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's super feminist. It really is. It's feminist in a very aggressive way. It's feminist in a way of being like, oh, am I making you feel small, little man? I'm sorry. I meant for you to feel castrated. Let's cut that little thing off and serve it to our kitty cats for lunch. Okay? This is very... Red pill folks are not going to like this album. This album is like, in some ways it's bad because it's sort of proving it's like all of the red pill fantasies about how women think and behave and feel are like, damn straight, that's how we feel. You're worthless. But anyways, it's a very interesting album. So let's go through it, right? Let's go through the first track, Crash Out. Sorry, you might hear the sound of one of my two children under 3 years old crying down there. It's all good. My 17-year-old is making cookies, so we're going to have some of those later, if I can eat them. Stomach virus and all that. So it starts off with what sounds like a crash out on Instagram. BF everybody who did anything. I'm stepping on hoes next and I'm coming for everything, bitch. I love it. I love how she's just saying just coming out just super angry. Super that word I'm not going to say again. And then it turns into the hook. I'm a whole different type of bitch. She's saying it in this crash out, and then that becomes part of the hook. It's awesome. This is great rap production. And then an 80 bounce beat. I'm repping Houston, I be screwed, and I be chopping a lot of stuff about Houston on here. It feels like she's trying to connect more to kind of a bouncy southern sound throughout the album. And then this hook. We outside, ho. We outside, ho. We outside. We outside, ho. Nobody clipped that. But we are. I was outside, ho. And then my computer literally froze because it was so hot. All these funny catch lines, I need my ass ate. That's why I got my ass out. Don't clip that either. I hit my B up like, what's poppin' later? Drop the pin. I think this white boy trying to F. He think he's Johnny Sins. That's funny if you're familiar with adult film stars. And then we get to the song Yitty on Your Titty freestyle. I had to look up Yitty. I didn't know that Yitty was her clothing brand. I will forgive it. In general, I don't like artists promoting their clothing brands and stuff, but Yitty is just so funny. This great sequenced beat, it's bouncy and awesome. She could have come out and just had a whole album about like apologies and looking into herself and all that, but she does that already. She's in therapy. She's not just in therapus, she's in therapy. We know that. Bitch, it's Lizzo, call me Lizzie. I've been fat and I've been skinny. Bitches still ain't fucking with me. Whim, wham, whammy. It's great. And then the funniest line in the whole song, in the whole album. Woke up to bitches who was preying on my downfall. Whoever they was praying to ain't listening to them at all. Very funny. Exactly like Bobby Hill. Just for fun, another fun bounce beat, multiple voices. Very sexually aggressive. Oh, wait, he say, sit on his face. What if you suffocate? Just gonna plant a wake? She's gonna kill him. She's gonna kill the poor man. Wait, what the F did you just say? Lizzo, you so demure. Well, not today. It's so funny. She's just having fun with it. Yo, little mama, mute this part. I got some shit to say. Your bitch a cutie, got some booty. I'm feeling fruity. You should have taken care of your girl. You was playing Call of Duty. She's going to steal your girl. That's the whole thing. This is like, okay. I don't know. I truly do not know if Lizzo identifies as gay or straight or bi or whatever. But what I think is interesting is what this album, this is going to lead into the next song, is doing, is it's talking about your girl, like, stealing men's women, but it is sexual, like it is here, right? You should have taken care of your girl. You was playing Call of Duty, and that's true. That's true. You know, a lot of men don't pay enough attention to their wives. They're too busy playing video games or doing YouTube videos. All right, you know. So like it is sexual, but it's also spiritual. It's like you're going to lose your woman because I'm going to infect her mind with this kind of me first, stop being demure, start being loud and angry anthems. A great chorus just for the stadiums, you know, took your bitch just for fun. And that leads into the next song, Got Your Bitch, right? Bend your back and drop that booty to the floor, let it run to the floor. What time is it? Booty time. What time is it? Booty time. Okay, there's tons of this kind of call and response, southern second line-ish, drum line style, music all over the place, just like really happy, bouncy southern rap. Nz is mad, Nz is trash, Nz is Oscar Grouch. I give a damn, I give a F, I do this shit for clout. I don't need no drama, I'm putting albums out, I made $1 million, I'm just chilling, I ain't even leave the house. It's great. And then she talks about everyone who's got your bitch. So who's stealing your woman? Okay, think in rap music, right? Who is stealing your woman? You know, is it Drake? You know, he's a certified lover boy. You know, is any of the sort of the famous, you know, sexy dudes of hip hop? No, it's Lotto, it's Glorilla, it's Nicki, it's Megan, it's Doechii. It's SZA. She lists every known mainstream female rapper and just says, they've got your bitch. They've got your woman. Your woman is no longer going to accept her subjugated position because she is listening to me and my fellow rap queens. All right? I said this is a deeply feminist album and a deeply challenging album, and that's why. Damn, this is a good album. I'm still surprised how good this is. You know? Okay. Then we get to Still Can't featuring Doja Cat. A sexual freedom anthem. Freedom from sex. It's all about expectations, you know? The Andrew Tate, the French and Fit people, okay? All the high value men, the people who think that if you do a certain number of things, or if you have a certain amount of status or a certain kind of thing, you earn your way to sex. This is the stark reminder that you never earn sex, ever. You might have a satisfying relationship. You might have some kind of consensual fun time, a consensual deep time, a consensual fling, a consensual midterm relationship, whatever it is. But you've never earned it. You can't earn it. You cannot win sex. You can't. It doesn't matter how many times Mario makes it to the castle, okay? He never wins Princess Peach. You know what I'm saying? You never win. So it seems like it's a fun, silly song. Don't care what I'm wearing, you still can't fuck. Okay, so you can't slut shame me. You can't say just because I'm dressed provocatively that I want to have sex. Take me to dinner, you still can't fuck. That's very powerful. That's very important because that's the idea men have. Oh, I buy you dinner so I get to have sex. If I'm in your section, you still can't fuck. I'm not going to lie. I don't actually understand what that means. That's some kind of rap slang. I don't know what that means. Tell me in the comments. Send me a bottle. You still won't fuck. So even if you shower me with champagne, it's a nice car, but you still can't fuck. Oh, did you get the Lambo? Did you get the Lambo? You folks over there watching your French and Fitz and your Andrew Tates and your high-value men, are you a high-value man with a Lambo? Put it away. It's not coming out to play. NBA draft, and you still can't fuck. So even if you are the highest of high-value men who has Lamborghinis and is a famous sports star, you made the playoffs, still can't fuck. It doesn't matter even if you are a successful NBA player. Call me a slut and you still won't. Beautiful. Beautiful, fascinating, straight to the point. I'm going to be creating a class on women and gender and hip hop, and this is going to be one of the songs I'm going to teach because it's talking about this difficulty that a lot of men have with not understanding that sex is not transactional. You can't buy sex. Or you shouldn't. Buying sex from sex workers is one thing. Okay, I'm not even saying that's bad. But treating women in your daily life like sex workers from whom you can purchase sex is the issue. Candace Owens somewhere pissed. That's very funny. And then things get more complicated because she then has a sample from Shara 7, who's this dating advice guru who is called the female Andrew Tate, who sort of talks about the games that are discussed in the manosphere and approaches them from the perspective of how to win the manosphere games as a woman, how to use manipulation and control, the power of the P. Now, this is where you don't want some white guy in his bedroom discussing these sort of things, so I'll just touch on this briefly. But it should be said, the system sucks. It's terrible. Transactional sex will always benefit the person who has the money. Always, 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 always. If a person buys you a bag to have sex with you, even if it's a $30,000 bag, that person always wins because they are doing what they can afford. They are using their money. They are using their institutional power to get something from you. So the Shara 7 thing, I'm not saying it's like bad or evil, but it is supporting transactional sex in saying that like this is how you procure a better transaction. What we should be aiming for is equality. Because in equality, then there isn't the idea where men have money and women don't. That's just the problem. We've just been dealing with this patriarchy thing. We're trying to get it out of the way. So we need to have it that women have just as much money as men do. Therefore, there's not a question of transactional anything because we all just have the same amount of money, but that's fine. I mean, Shara 7 is also she's really good at what she does. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And then Doja is just so ruthless. Oh my God. And the beat changes. The gospel bit cuts out. He got goals, hobbies, and a passion with an accent in his eyes, knock you off your axis. All the members clubs he got access to, cook, clean, and no bad tattoos. But he ain't hitting it when Jesus returned. He ain't hitting it with mommy issues. He ain't hitting it if it meant that I would have to let him hit it too and comment issues. Wouldn't let him hit it to stop a missile. Just the tip? Okay, I'll cut it off. Beg for pussy, then I'll cut him off. Ain't none of my clothes coming off. Sprinkle, sprinkle. God damn, that is just going. That is the absolute male fears, just weaponized as hard as it possibly can be. And I'm here for it. New Mistakes kind of has this reggae sound to start, and then it's a play on Für Elise by Beethoven. Now, I think that she came up with this idea when she was working with Jack Black on that terrible episode of The Mandalorian, because Jack Black in the song Classico, if you want to fucking rock and fucking roll out of control, there's a Tenacious D song, anyways, that uses that too. It's not my favorite, but it's all right. Why can't I just do my fucking thing? It's so lame, the price of fame. If you looking for a bitch to blame, L-I-Z, you know the name. I like it. And then it has a totally blown out ending with this just crazy, hilarious slant rhyme, which shouldn't rhyme. Shake that ass, make 'em wet, pussy wet, Ricky Lake, new mistakes, no regrets. Bend It Over, maybe the biggest pop song. He'd be like, ooh, ooh, wee, ooh, ooh. I like it. It's as close as we're going to get to kind of a crossover R&B song, but it's cool. I shoot my shot like I think I'm Katie. I'm a firework, so you think I'm Katie. It's like when he get mad, he'd be like, "Fuck you, fuck me. What that dick do?" It's lots of stuff about too. A lot of stuff too about large penises. That's a big requirement on this album. And I think this album is designed intentionally to create a lot of male insecurity, and I'm all for it. Because what happens when we coddle men's insecurity? I'm saying this as a man. When we coddle men's insecurity, they get more insecure, okay? They ask for more and more reassurance. They get more and more restrictive. And then there's a Hercules reference, which is great. Clap with her. Hercules, clap with her. Hercules. Nutty Professor. Left, right, military march. Then that booty shake from left to right, call and response. Maybe I could turn around, give you back shots, take me to the Paris Hilton. Baby, that's hot. Bouncy 808 sounds and ends with a hook. I'm going to work with them cheeks. Left, right. Goddamn daddy. Left, right. Dropping on it. Another light summer beat here. We're getting more towards the summery bit. A little bit lighter style. Take my number. We can lock in 3 o'clock and Boots is knocking. He's my favorite eater. Motherfucking coochie goblin. Boy, you all talk daddy in action. Eat it good. I put it in caption. You said it's big. Better be no capping. Summer shit. This is her effort to make. Apparently she made this album in 3 days. That's what she said. And I appreciate that because it has that kind of light feel. She has trouble getting started. I'm so poppin', I can twerk and do a TED Talk. All I talked about was twerking in my TED Talk. I don't mean to be a jerk here, but we could actually do a TED Talk on twerking. I could. It goes back to African dance tradition called the Mapuko. It's popularized in New Orleans first with the sort of the second line dancing and the bounce music. DJ Jubilee, do the Jubilee, y'all, do the Jubilee, y'all. Twerk, baby, twerk, twerk, twerk. There's a whole racial history. I mean, I teach it in my class, and dear Lord, when I create that class on women and gender, it's going to be a whole week on twerking. Twerking is serious business. Very funny chorus. I don't need the dick. Just give me some of it. IRL featuring SZA. Drumless to start with synths. I'm a bad bitch in real life. This is talking about that difference between the public persona, the online persona, and the real person that you actually are. SZA just comes in. She's awesome. Ever since I saw SZA in concert, I'm just a huge, huge fan. And then we even have a little bit of the Jersey Club bed spring sound. And it's my goal, just as a historian, to just spread a few things. Like every time you hear a trap beat, you need to thank someone named Shotty Red, a producer from Atlanta who invented trap beats. And every time you hear, you need to thank DJ Tamil, Tameil. He was the guy who invented that sound. Okay? You know that thing they used to do, it's Black History Month, and this person did that, and this person invented that. Man, why we don't even do that for music? All right. Then Cut 'Em Off. Okay. Zaytoven, great and fun. These fake horror sounds. If you're looking for a sign, then cut them bitches off. Very bitter. Very, very bitter, spiteful song. I got frenemies. Got a lot of frenemies. I start Yiddy Chain where my heart's supposed to be. That made me go back and re-listen to the Drake song, Energy. And I know I'm supposed to be a Drake hater, but God, I love that song. I got enemies, a lot of enemies. That's when he was trying. It was really good. It's only a decade ago. Lots of comedic timing here. Now she's asking if we cool. Hold on. Fuck no. And she slows down. I didn't even want to do this, but the voices in my head, the voices said, she appears to be going after her accusers. That appears to be who she's going after. And I'm not for people going after their accusers, especially when they have so much power. But maybe it's more general than that. I don't know. And then we get to the final song, Ditto. And this is where I think my initial conclusions are going to come true. She's partying with female friends who are probably on her payroll. And she says, cheers, ladies. And then she says this. Finish this, ho. She literally commands one of her friends to finish the drink that she's drinking. That's that lack of boundaries. It's right here in the album. Okay? I'm not even saying she shouldn't be sued. I'm saying she shouldn't be canceled. I'm saying we should not think less of her as a human being because she is a bad boss who has now been perhaps correctly castigated for being a bad boss. She talks about the pain of being accused of fat shaming, which is just like wild, right? Because she is one of the most she is like the face of body positivity. And she quotes Mike Jones, "Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me," which is from the song Back Then by Mike Jones. Hey, put your fingers down there. Actually, it's from Still Tipping. No, it's not. You see, Still Tipping is where the original line comes from. Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. But in Still Tipping, it was back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me. Okay? So, like, that was the line from Still Tipping. When the song Back Then came out, they took the censored version of Still Tipping and made that into the chorus. So... but it gives it the real Houston feel. References a Chinese restaurant chain, Timmy Chan's, with the sauce on it. Got me saucy like Sauce Waka, so Texas. And then the Mike Jones sample and this great chorus. It is what it is, but it ain't what it ain't though. They swear that they friends till you take them off the payroll. I'm in love with my fans and my bands and my pillow. My man call me baby, but the world call me. And then she leaves it up there and you're just supposed to scream, Lizzo! No point in hating, thanks to the fans. I made the album in 3 days. Thank you. It's Lizzo summer, bitch. And there you go. There's my review of the album. When I heard the single that came before it, the Still Bad song, I was like, okay, well, this is just going to be more of that kind of like, what's it called? Poptimism. It's just going to be okay. It's going to be that kind of mixture of all that stuff. Instead, we get this album that is just hard, bitter, spiteful, joyful, bouncy. This is a good mainstream rap album. All right, tell me what you think in the comments. And there's the camera.